Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. It is the end of November. Tomorrow is December. So that means holiday extravaganza is right around the corner. If you have not registered for this fabulous event, I really hope that you do. It is happening on December 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And our annual holiday extravaganza is something that you want to be there for. Um, sorry, I just realized that you can see my Christmas lights and my Christmas boxes. We are in full holiday festive mode over here. So, to get registered for the deep dive, all you have to do is I'm just dropping the link over here. Is just go ahead and register at booklaunchers.com/deep dive. I have five of my fabulous crew members from the Book Launchers team that will be there to answer all your questions. And we have games and prizes and swag and books and all kinds of things. So it is a ton of fun if you have not been there. And this year, we are going to lock down that Zoom screen so that you, so that we don't have a crasher. So last year, sorry, I'm going to try and close a few things. I am told that my video is a little pixelated. I have a feeling it is because I am currently in the middle of uploading some videos to Dropbox. It was not done in time. So hopefully it is working okay now. But last year we had some party crashers on our Zoom. This year we have the security lockdown. So the holiday extravaganza will be clean fun for all. All right. So today's topic, sorry, as I'm closing things, I'm getting pop-up messages and all the fun. So please give me a moment. You guys can go ahead and say hello while I'm doing this. Let us know where you're joining us from. Of course, if you're watching the replay, just hashtag replay it, all that good, all that good stuff. We still have prizes for everyone who comments the day a video is released, including live streams. So, oh, and Christopher Madish is in the house. Hello, Mojo. Great to have you here. All right, so today's topic, Lakeisha, hello. Great to have you here as well. So that was the holiday extravaganza, Saturday, December 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get yourself registered, join us. It is going to be a lot of fun. And I won't say you're guaranteed to win something, but it's quite likely you'll walk away with a prize and some new knowledge and meeting some of the fabulous folks from Book Launchers. All right, so today we're going to cover some of the essentials you need to know about your author business. And the first thing I want to address is yes, when you become an author, you have a business. So getting your mindset focused on the fact that this is a business is the first thing. So what does that mean? Well, you're the CEO of your book business and you need to own that. You have to think and act like a CEO. Now, everybody's resources are different, and just it's the same in the CEO world. When you own a business, everybody's resources are different, but you are now in charge of making resource allocation decisions. And that means you have to be strategic about using your time, your energy, and your money, and even your network as wisely as possible in the pursuit of your goals for your book business. So, a great CEO of any business knows that they are not the best person to do all the things. One of the reasons I believe that Book Launchers is really successful in quite a short period of time and has wonderful authors that we've helped and a fantastic team is because at no point in the lifespan of Book Launchers has it been me trying to do everything. I found us 10 beta clients to roll with. And then I proceeded to hire our fabulous production manager, Jacqueline Kyle, and our story expert, Tim Testa. They were the first two people in the door helping me build Book Launchers. And then we hired contractors as we needed people like editors and designers and so forth. And then over the years, as we've found phenomenal contractors, we've brought them in-house to be part of our family. So it's been a journey, but at no point was it ever me. And that's true of my books and all of the successful books out there. It is just not possible to do all the things that are required for a successful book business and do them well yourself. I have not yet met a human that has the skills and the abilities to do all the things, because they are so dramatically different. Besides the fact that we as humans are unable to edit our own work. Our brain sees the way it's supposed to be, not the way it is. And so it is just not possible for you to edit your own writing properly. So, whew, all that to say, you have to just determine what resources you have or are willing to put towards your book business, and then plan your allocation to do the best with what you've got in pursuit of your goals. So that's really, really important. That's kind of the first piece is you're the CEO and you're in charge of the strategic decision making of this business. So how are you going to make those decisions? Cool. I see lots of folks here. Bill is in the house. Fred from Sydney, Australia. Welcome, Fred. Great to have you here. Efren is here. Valerie. It's great, great, great to have all of you here. So, and if you're hiding in the background, just so you know, there are prizes for participation. So it always pays to say hello. All right. So heading on back to our topic, and I hope the video is better, Angela. Thank you for letting me know that it was pixelated. So hopefully it's stronger now that I've shut a few things off. But I am a video took, yeah, it's still a little blurry. Sorry, guys. A video is uploading into Dropbox, and it took its sweet time. I started doing it a few hours ago, and it's still going. So apologies for that. I don't know if I can pause Dropbox, the upload. I could try. I have a feeling. Oh, there. I can pause. This should help. Pausing. Thank you. Hopefully this works. Let me know. Okay, so that's your first consideration is really thinking that you are the CEO of your book business. Number two, and this should be no surprise to any of you because almost all of you are familiar names to me, except for maybe Fred. I'm not sure I've seen you on one of these live streams before, so I'm glad to have you. But you are, oh, it did work. Yay. Thank you for letting me know, Angela. That is better, so that's great. It was my Dropbox uploading new fabulous YouTube content for my editors to edit so that it's perfect for you guys. And it was slowing things down. So we are better now. Yay. Okay. So, and Efren said you could hear me. So that was good. Okay. So back to my point. So number two was that you have to know who your customer is. And so in terms of a book, this is your reader. And I won't, because I've harped on this so many times before, you pretty much can pick a video from booklaunchers.tv randomly, and I am talking about who is your ideal reader. So I won't harp on that today, but I will say that you as a business owner need to know who your customers are. And the more clear you are on who your customers are, why they need your book, and where you're going to find them for your book business, the more successful you are going to be with your overall book business. The third thing that is really fundamental to you with your book business is knowing what your goals are. Now, I'm not even talking bestseller or number of books sold when I'm talking goals, because I'm thinking of your overall book business. I want you to think a little bigger, a little bit more like, if you were planning a road trip, you may not know every place you're going to stop or all the places you're going to turn off, but you do know that you're going from, Las Vegas up to, Boulder, Colorado. I don't know. You've got your destination. So you need to know your destination so that even if you take a little detour, you're not going, you're not deviating from Los Angeles to end up in Miami, Florida before you get back to Boulder, Colorado. So you want to know your goals. And are you going to be a multi-book author? Like, is your intention that you're going to have multiple books? Are you writing this book largely for legacy? Because that's okay if that's your intention, but knowing that up front does help guide a lot of your decisions. Are you using this as a lead into your funnel, into your bigger business ecosystem? Do you want speaking engagements from it? Is your intention to, use it to discover partnerships? Really, ultimately, that's when I'm talking goals for your book business, is just having that bigger picture vision for what you want to do. Because there are so many distractions in business, and publishing is no different, that you really do need that end vision at least partially clear so that you can make the right decisions or better decisions along the way to ideally end up where you want to go with this. Some of those considerations, looking at this as a book business, is, do you need a website? Most authors really do need an author website for their book. But, if you've got a bigger business, you can probably add this book page into that website. If you are really doing this for legacy purposes, you probably aren't going to be doing a bunch of media and other things, speaking engagements that require that website. So you might not need it. Are you going to need a lead magnet, an author newsletter? What are your marketing plans going to entail? That all comes out of knowing where you want to go with this book and will help you build that foundation right from the beginning. And even having an intention of how big this business is going to be or how big you want it to be so that you can make the right choices from the beginning. Um, and now that you're thinking of it like a business, you have to also think about asset protection, what your business structure is going to be, and the most glorious thing ever, taxes. Now, I'm not going to dive into asset protection today because I covered this. I covered a lot of stuff around copyright in particular, and protecting your assets and licensing and things like that when I talked about the highlights from the 20 books to 50K event. Uh, which Angela probably can grab the link to that live stream. It was I believe this was the 2 weeks ago live stream. I can't remember now. It could have been, yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. But I talked a lot about some of the things I learned and was refreshed upon from copyright and other things. But you do want to think about this as a business. And one of the things I love about self-publishing is ultimately that this is you're creating an asset. This is your intellectual property and it is an asset. So you want to protect it. You want to think about making money from it in multiple different ways. I being a real estate investor as my background, I'm all about multiple streams of income. And the ones that I can have coming in without me thinking about it, that are coming in when I sleep, those are my favorite kind. And your intellectual property has the potential to be that asset for you. So you want to treat it like that. So check out that live stream. I also have a video coming out second week of December on copyright in a little bit more detail. So if you aren't already subscribed to the channel and getting the notifications like Christopher Maddish is, that's how Christopher knew to join us today, then you really should subscribe so that you can make sure you catch that video and all the other fun that we have here. So I'll dive into structure in a minute, but I do want to do a YouTube prize and the participation prize for today. So Angela, first things first, let's do that fabulous participation prize. And you can, let's do, today's the 30th, right? I think it's the 30th. So why don't we count, I think we've had 30 comments. Why don't we count 30 from the top? And that will be our prize winner. Okay, great. And while Angela's doing that, she's also collecting your questions, by the way. So everybody asking questions, I will be answering all of those at the end. She collects them all for me. So you can go ahead and ask your questions. I'm not ignoring you, but we're going to finish the content and then I'll do all the questions at the end. So the YouTube, every Tuesday and Friday, we have new videos coming out. Even through the holidays, my friends, I will have videos for you every Tuesday and Friday throughout the holidays. So when you comment the day a video is released, you get entered to win sweet swag. Sometimes you get fabulous hoodies like these or t-shirts or magnets. We have a mug. We also have a journal, neither of which I have near me. But we have all kinds of fabulous swag. So make sure you're commenting the day videos are coming out and you will be entered to win. So today's winners are, it's randomly spinning in a circle. I take all those names and I put them in a random name picker and it spins in a circle and it popped out today's winner, Rachel Robertson. Yay. Rachel, we just gave you a shout out in our huddle today. In our daily team meetings, we have this section where we have who got caught being awesome. And we give our clients shout outs, we give our contractors shout outs, and we give, of course, each other on the team shout outs. And Rachel got a shout out today. So it is only appropriate that you won today. I don't know what you have not won yet, but please reach out to Angela and let her know what you would like. And I think we have your address, but it never hurts to give that to Angela as well. So congratulations and thank you, Rachel. Okay. And my second, I'm just going to do both of them right now. And did you find a winner, Angela? Oh, there we go. Lakeisha, yay. So Lakeisha, your prize choices today, I believe, and Angela can confirm this for me, we have magnets, which I'm at home, not in my office today, so I can't show you. But we have the greatest gift you can give an author is a review. It's a nice size fridge magnet. or Write the Book You Want to Read, I believe is the other one. And we also have a copy of Self Publish and Succeed. So if you have not yet read my book, I highly recommend you get that one. And do we have journals? Angela, do we have any journals to give away? I know we don't have mugs. We finally think we have found a source for new mugs, but we had a lot of supplier issues with the mugs. So let's see. I'm waiting for Angela to tell me. And we also have Dale Roberts' book. Can you put the title in there as well? I wrote the foreword for it, and I can never remember the title. Uh, it, sorry, sorry, Dale. There was so many books he put out all in a very short period of time. So lots of great choices, Lakeisha. You can coordinate with Angela. You can email her at team at booklaunchers.com. Thank you so much for your likes, comments, and shares on these videos. It really, really makes my day and helps with the YouTube algorithm too, as does, hitting like when you're watching this video and commenting whenever that is too. So thank you very much. Okay, so going back to the topic today, I'm suspecting a lot of you are now going to ask business structure, and so when I say structure for your business, you're thinking LLC, S corp, all the things. Now, here's the thing: I'm Canadian. So you definitely don't want to take advice from me because I have set up a C corp, which is the more expensive and unless you're planning on building something that will be sold in the future, it's really not necessary for most people, is my understanding, unless you are a resident alien, which is what I am, and I'm on a visa that they at some point could choose, hopefully don't, but they could choose not to renew, and I may have to go back to Canada. And if that happens, I need to have a C corp in order to have that as a Canadian living in Canada again. So all that's to say, my structure is going to be different than your structure, and you really should talk to a tax accountant and even a business attorney. Now, my understanding from talking to a lot of different people in this industry is the typical setup for most authors who don't have a business outside of their book. Like the book is their primary business, and maybe it expands into other things, but it's not like Book Launchers and has Self-Publish and Succeed as part of a greater business. It is the book is the primary source of the business. In that case, an LLC might make sense. And again, I don't know enough about these structures to guide you in any sort of way, but I can tell you that you have to be pretty confident that your book is going to generate a decent amount of revenue in order to go through the hassle and investment of setting up these structures. Like in California, for example, no matter what structure you have, you're going to pay $800 a year just for the privilege of having that entity. So you have an S corp or an LLC or a C corp, you get to pay $800, even if your entity made no money. They don't care. They just want you to pay them $800 in California. If anybody wonders why I moved to Nevada, we can talk about all the ways California makes your life difficult as a business owner. But ultimately, I think you really have to have these conversations with a tax accountant, but also a business attorney, talking about how is the best way to set up your assets. Even thinking about how many, again, this goes back to your goal. How many books do you want to, or do you anticipate writing? What are you going to do in the future for handing them down to people? This is intellectual property and it can be inherited by others and they can benefit from this intellectual property. And so you want to be thinking those pieces through with the appropriate professionals for you. But if you really don't know if you're going to sell very many books, it's a lot of hassle to go through. My inclination, again, this is not advice for you. This is just how I roll. My inclination, if I didn't have a sense of how well a book was going to do and it wasn't part of a bigger business ecosystem, I would just publish it. And then if things are going well and it makes sense, I would start some sort of an entity and then roll it in, rather than doing it the other way around. Again, that's how I roll. Things are messy. That's why I have great people like Angela who help me clean up the messes, because she will tell you there are quite frequently messes. I'm getting better at creating fewer messes and being a little bit more a little bit more thoughtful before I do the old ready, fire, then aim approach. But ultimately, I just wouldn't want to invest in all of those things if I didn't have a good sense of how strongly my book was going to do in the beginning. But now, the part that I really wanted to talk about today, and I am on a bit of a schedule, so I'm going to make sure we hit this part, and then I've got some time for your questions. But the good news about all of this stuff that we haven't spent much time talking about on this channel before is now you have tax write offs. Now, again, not an accountant, not an accountant at all, and Canadian. Most of my business life has been spent in Canada. But I do know that there are things that you now have the opportunity to write off as expenses against your income. Now, which income is going to be dependent on your structure, which is why I say you really want to talk to a tax accountant depending on, your situation. But if you end up building your publishing company under your personal name, now it will, or I think even under an LLC, it's now income that goes against any income you're making in your life. Again, do not take my word for that. But I do know that a lot of things become tax deductible, which is really exciting. So the fee you pay for attending an event, if you buy a new computer, if you hire book launchers, all of those things are quite likely tax deductible. So that's really, really cool. Now, what does that also mean? You need to be keeping track of all of these things. You have to save receipts and you have to use something to keep track. Now, Excel works great. You can just track it all in Excel and keep them in a receipt folder. You can use something fancier like QuickBooks. There's lots of different software out there that you can use to track your expenses. The big thing is you have to be tracking them. You can also track mileage and travel and lots of things. So, just trying to make sure I give this to you in an organized fashion. Now, many authors are doing this as part of their business. Again, like Self-Publish and Succeed is part of Book Launchers, which is part of a C Corp. And so all of the expenses pertaining to Self-Publish and Succeed are all just underneath the company. And that includes any sort of travel. If I was traveling to promote the book, even if I went to an event to research for that book, that could all be run through the company as expenses. And the same thing goes for any other kind of business entity you set up for your book. If you work from home, a portion of your monthly rent is also potentially, if you're a renter, is potentially deductible. If you rent an outside office, that entire cost is deductible. You also might, like I said, you might be able to write off cost of a new computer, a cell phone, other longer term property that you might buy for the use of your book business, and certainly office supplies, paper, ink, pens and journals and things like that. They're also, again, quite likely tax deductible. Anything, just looking at my notes, anything that you subscribe to that is relevant to this, to research or to the book business, like I subscribe to a great, I think it's monthly, maybe it's twice a month, newsletter called The Hot Sheet from Jane Friedman, which is all about the publishing industry news. That's obviously an expense, it's tax deductible. If you sign up for IBPA membership or Allies membership, those are also going to be deductible because they're directly related to your book business. Legal and professional services, those things are also related to your book business. Insurance, and I do believe, again, this is where you really have to get your own advice because my setup is different than most people's setup. But I believe that if you get health insurance and you're considered a self-employed person as an author, I believe that's 100% deductible, assuming you've made enough money, enough profit from your business to deduct that. And I think other things like your homeowner's insurance, if you own your home, that a portion of that is deductible. And then travel. I mean, this is kind of a cool one for authors. If you're smart about it, you can mix business and travel or business and pleasure to a certain degree. And a portion of your travel expenses will become write offs. So all of you can plan to come to Las Vegas in 2022 in November. I don't know the exact dates, but you can plan to come for 20 books to 50K. This is not my event. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever. I just went and I thought it was really extraordinary. It was the $300 ticket, the value that was delivered in the 4 days, the networking, whether you're a fiction or a nonfiction author, the networking was really, really great. And I am now on a mission to have as many book launchers people here for that, so we can have a huge book launchers meetup and probably make sure that all of you've got book launchers t-shirts, so we can be rocking it out and having a presence at the next event. Regardless, traveling for media, research, speaking engagements, book promotion, conferences, all of those things now become a write off. Meals are funky. I think you can only write off 50% of your meals when you travel for writing purposes or business purposes. But there's other fun things, that your airfare is fully deductible. Typically, car mileage, if you drive, is deductible. So, whew, there's so many things. And a lot of people do not pay enough attention to all the tax write-off opportunities, which ultimately gives you more money back in your pocket. So it's a really, really good thing, especially when there are already expenses that you have anyways, to have this opportunity now that you have this book business to write those things off. So I'm going to take questions right now because, again, I am on a schedule, so I have to be off of here in 10 more minutes. But I want to remind you, the holiday extravaganza is happening. It's a deep dive session with my team. There's 5 people from my team that will be joining me. That is December 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Register at booklaunchers.com/deep dive. And it's holiday season. So if you have a budding author in your life, make sure they've got a copy of Self-Publish and Succeed, which I do have a copy of right here, because it is the ultimate resource for every author. And if you have a book out, be doing the same thing, guys. It's holiday season. People are looking for great gifts. It's okay to be in people's face a little bit and tell them to buy this book for that person. And our last live stream of 2021 will be happening on, where's my date? December 14th. And then we'll be back January 11th, but there will be content here in between. So do come back every Tuesday, Friday for that. Okay, I am ready for questions, Angela, and we do have one more prize. So I want to hear from you. What was your favorite tip today? And we're going to go for the more specific, the better. Okay, so okay, question 1. Lorene, if I already have an ebook on Amazon, but I want to edit the description and content, can I do that? Description, yes. Content, probably. Depends on how extensive you're doing content changes. So the description, yes, we edit, and I've talked about this before. We refresh keywords every 90 days for all of our authors. And when we do that refresh, I think it's every 9 days, might be every 6 months, but we rewrite the description with those new keywords and do a description update. We also will assess it based on Amazon ad performance, because the ads give us a lot of data that tell us, okay, is the cover performing? If the cover is performing and the title seems to be performing, but people are not buying, then we look at things like review count and book description. And so you can revise that at any time. Not the back of the book. That takes an extra step, but updating it on Amazon and Ingram, that's not too difficult. I like how Efren snuck his question in. It looks like it's giving it, but I'm going to stick with Angela's format here. And Dharam, I hope I'm saying your name right. Dharam says, reading your book right now, very informative and excellent advice. So thank you very much. Question 2, Lakeisha, would you recommend making cards to pass out at libraries for your book if you have a website? I just put out a video, which Angela can hopefully grab, on getting your book into libraries. I would highly recommend that you listen to that, watch that video, and follow that process more than cards. If you do anything, I would produce a media kit or a 1-page sell sheet, which I will be doing a video on the sell sheet in January. I haven't recorded it yet. That one-page sell sheet will be something I'll be producing and talking about more in January. But your media kit can do a lot for local libraries as well. So that would be what I would say. And there is a video on booklaunchers.tv on media kit. And Lorene, sorry, you can edit the content inside, but if you do an extensive update such that it impacts your metadata, it gets more complicated. So if you add, say, a whole chapter and your page count changes, you can still do all of that, but there are where it does become a new edition or a revised edition. It's a little more complicated, and that's a great question to bring to the holiday extravaganza. I don't know. I think Jacqueline's doing it, our production manager. I think she's going to be one of the people there, and she is the one that knows those details of okay, this do it. So she would be a great person to ask. So if you can come to that holiday extravaganza on December 11th, we can get you an even better answer to that part of the question. Okay. Question 3. Efren's question: do you recommend a business structure template for a primary book asset with the intent to write more online course speaking? So I kind of answered that. A structure template. I would say, I mean, as far as the business assets you would want when you plan to write more, you absolutely want your website. You want to be building that email newsletter, and you want something out there. So YouTube or LinkedIn or some other place where you are creating content where there's already an audience. So that's what I would be building as far as um, business elements right now. As for the LLC, S corp, all that structure, that part, you know, I would talk to a professional on what makes sense for you and your goals. Like I said, I know LLC is very common in the author world, but I don't know enough about all of that stuff to kind of guide anybody on that. What I do recommend is if you're planning on being a multi-book author, building your network and building your platform, in particular your email newsletter list, as soon as possible is probably the most important thing you can do for your business. That network and your newsletter are going to be fundamental to your future success as an author. Where are we? Tip of the day. Yes, I love this, Mojo. So, tip of the day: we are the CEO of our business. Can't treat it like a hobby. Figure out where you want to go, how to get to it, even with those pesky detours called life. Yay. I think you've won everything already, Mojo, but I'm happy to give you whatever else you don't have. You probably don't have a magnet yet because those are new. So please email Angela at team@booklaunchers.com. Let her know what you want from our swag list and where to send it, and we'll get it to you. Or of course, if you have somebody that you want to give my book to, that's also an option, or Dale's book as well. Okay. So Effort's question: do write-offs only apply if I have registered as an LLC or regardless of incorporation? I believe, again, this is why I always want you to talk to an accountant, but I believe the only real requirement is that you have the intent to make money. So as an author, you have the intent to make money from the sale of your book. So most write-offs should still apply to you. You will, following our process, Efren, you'll be setting up at a minimum a fictitious business name, which will be under your name personally, and that alone is like a business structure, if you will, that you can write off these things against. You probably will set up a bank account for that publishing company, and so all of those things will make it pretty straightforward. And then I do believe that those expenses, the certain ones that are allowed based on your structure and situation, those are all just going to go into one lump sum, Efren Inc. and be written off. So no, you don't have to have a corporation for any of these things to be written off, but there are nuances to that, which is why it's good to talk to a professional. Okay, let's see here. Question 4. Heather says, thanks for the tips about what might be tax deductible. Do you have any expertise regarding children's book publishing? I do not. I have an entire closet, no joke, of children's books. We have a very, very robust children's book library. So I have a lot of experience reading children's books. Some of them I even have memorized. But no, we don't do anything with children's books. I generally recommend people go to Keith Wheeler Books for advice and support with children's books. I have a video that we did with Keith Wheeler that Angela, if she's not too busy, can grab that link and post it here as well. He has great resources and support for people working with children's books that need have questions that they need answered. Um, all right, I think we've got it all here. Just checking to make sure I didn't leave anybody hanging. And I think we gave all the prizes away. Sorry, Michael, you're just saying hello, and I am just about to say goodbye. But deep dive, booklaunchers.com/deep dive, December 11th. Make sure you're registered, and we'll be back here in 2 weeks. If you have topics you want me to cover on the very last live stream of 2021, you can go ahead and post in the comments on the replay or in this live stream comment, and I'll be figuring that out later. Yeah, and Laporta just said, I know you only help nonfiction authors, but is YA magic too saturated to bother to write? I mean, based on what I saw at 20 books to 50K, which again, I hope all of you come in 2022. It's going to be great. It's my new mission in life. Again, I get no financial compensation from this, but I just really want to see you all here in Las Vegas for that event. There was so much money being made in YA, but I can't speak to it personally. But I was astounded at how much money some of the YA authors in particular, or what do they call it? It's like clean romance or something like that. Some of those categories, they are making so much money. I mean, they're writing a ton of books. They're putting out, a book every 3 to 6 months typically. So they're writing a ton of books, but some of them are making a lot of money. So I don't think it's too saturated because you have whale readers in those categories. Nonfiction doesn't have a ton of whale readers. There aren't people that are going to gobble up like 3 books a day in nonfiction typically. But in a lot of the fiction genres, there are truly people who are reading a book a day, 2 books a day. So there just never is enough content for them. So there's still opportunities if you are writing great books and know how to find those readers. So all right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really hope to see you on our holiday extravaganza on December 11th, and see you back here again every Tuesday and Friday when we post new content. All right. Take care. Bye.